Welcome guys to a new video on the channel. Today we have a dark irregular deck buff for you guys, but today it will be post history collection. I want to do these type of videos more, especially with history collection coming into the format. DI is a deck that isn't getting a majorly update after history collection, so that's why I want to do it as one of the first cleanse that I want to do. Of course I also need some of the new cards, because I want to have to collect decks, but for Dark Irregulars it doesn't really matter that much, and some of the proxies are really easy to do. I do have to say I have some proxy cards in here, which I will explain later, but this deck is focused around the fact that it's easily accessible for beginners to play and to get the cards, of course. The thing is, with Dark Irregulars you can put a lot of deck cards in, but the deck will get increasingly far more difficult. So that's why I want to keep it a little bit more simple, so that everyone can pick it up, because I think history collection will be a cool method to go begin with. So for the starters, this may already seem weird, but we play the V star. I mean, this is because essentially the meta is super aggressive. We want to play this, especially with all the combo decks out there that already starts killing you on GB. We want to have the additional draw plus the quick shield, which in turn starts with a +2, and when we go second it's a +3, because you also get the Guardian Ticker because of the Hammerman Messiah. Yes, you do lose on Animatic Assassin, but that's a loss we could like to take, because you need to get the starter, you need to get the draw to survive the early game to even go into your combo plays, because Dark Irregulars is a really hard combo deck. It's not the easiest of clans to pick up immediately with, but having more cards allows you to go into the combo easier and see your other cards also better. The thing is, with Dark Irregulars you really want your soul chargers to reach 13 soul, and that's mainly for this card, which is No Life King Death Anchor, which also gets a reprint in the upcoming history collection. It will be a common though, will be different art than this, but essentially NOK is the card that DI tries on for many years. I think it's already 5 years or something like that. It's a reasonable vanguard, but not once per turn. Essentially you're restricted to having more rear guards, so if you have 3 you can do it once. If you have 6 that you can go during the battle phase, you have even more than you can do 2 vanguard attacks additionally. So NOK have always been a card that you can go back to. That's always the main portion of the entire clan, and it's the card that makes the eye super broken when it goes off, but if you don't go off, then you also break insanely hard. For the backup grade trees, it's not really a backup, because if you most of the time ride them, you're dead. But it's 2 Barrel Magnus. You want to go into this after your NOK attacks. So what the combo mean most of the time is you go from 1 NOK to a Barrel Magnus. This reasoning is because you have lots of the now different types of effects or stuff that just removes your rear guards, and by going into the NOK to the barrel, you ensure even if 2 of your rear guards get sniped, that you can go into the barrel magnets after. So you lose a vanguard attack and maybe also a rear guard attack, but in that presence you counteract the fact that what your opponent may be playing. If you know your opponent doesn't have any type of that, most of them you just go NOK into barrel for the most efficient place, of course. But what the barrel essentially allows is when he attacks, you can counter +1, put everything again into the soul, which isn't really a major decrease of units for you, because you already put everything into the soul. And then you got 2 units out, which again activates the on-play skills, allows you to increase your multi-attack potential, and it's really a good card for this deck to extend from, because it allows you essentially if you have everything, you can just OTK your opponent to insanity. To hope on them, this card keeps I don't know, you have so many insane card restrictions in this deck, and hope on that is one of them. You also have another one, which is a grade 2. I think it's I don't know, it's restricted in V, that I know, it's banned in V, I don't know its name again, but it's also really good, which works a little bit differently. But essentially these are 2 really nasty card restricts. If you want to maximize on the card restrict, you maybe can play one of the grade 2, play one of the grade 3. You can do that. I like this a little bit more for consistency if you're a little bit more of a beginner player. but if you're not, you can just like just do one of each, of course, because the thing is, if you draw multiples of these, then it's like a little bit of a dead card, because the second doesn't really do anything. And if you draw one of each and it's good, and it's like it stacks on, of course. Like if you have both skill 5 and you do it on your first, like before you even attack for your first attack, it's broken. It's literally insanely broken. But you need to draw them, you need to have every soul charges, and that's what like essentially DI restricts. It's because you need to play a lot of soul charges. Until now you haven't seen anything. And that's where we now come in. We have the promo grade 2. So unfortunately it's promo. Essentially it's a insanely good card if you know Emblem Master from the past. This is essentially the clone. But then it doesn't cost CB, it is soul. And that's actually better, because CB can be denied, but soul can never be denied, especially in DI. So his first skill is essentially when he gets when he is boosted, and that's Fingered Wicked Circle, by the way. You can like target one of your units in the field and search your deck and drop for the same to put them into the soul. So if you have a grade 1 behind your Vanguard, you can already start soul charging like three of them into your deck, or into your soul, I mean. That deck wins, but it allows you also to gain a +2 soul because you soul blasted once. This can increase to more soul charges, but you also have a second skill that's at the beginning of your white phase. You can discard it to like search top 5 for a grade 1. So it's sort of a G assist, because let's fix it, you don't have a grade 1 in your hand. You can like pitch this for top 5, so it's a better G assist in the sense that you don't have to discard 2, but of course if you with this you cannot G assist after, because G assist is even before this like card triggers. But if you miss your G assist, you will also miss this, so it's like both of them at the same time. But like if you G assist, you can still use this worst case scenario. But this card is really good. Most of the time what I do is like when I have 1, it's really good because then you can place it in the Vanguard Circle with a booster behind it. But if you have 2 and you don't have a booster yet, just most of the time just discard it to like also have it in the drop zone, because then you maybe can target itself to put it into the soul, because you target both the deck and the drop zone. But also when you don't have a booster, you want to get a boost to like soul charge into your deck, of course. And most of the grade 1s in this deck are really good for you to allow again. Soul. Then we have a Convergere Succubus, and this again a card. It doesn't really generate soul. It does, but you already need 10 in the soul to work with, or 6 essentially. This card essentially is the main counter charge of this deck. You can use a shit ton of counter lists in this deck, but you also have a lot of ways to counter charge, and this is the main way of doing it. So when she attacks, you can put a Wicked into the soul. If you have 6 or more soul, you counter charge one. If you have 10 or more soul, you draw to put a card from your hand into the soul, which fixes your soul. So it's essentially a sort of 2 at that point. But it also allows you to just counter charge. It's like plus 10k shield with 15 or more soul. I didn't even know that condition. If you have 6 or more soul, plus 5k shield. If you have 10 or more soul, plus 10k shield. I don't really use that really often. You will probably do it more after history collection, because you are more in a far more aggressive meta. But this card is literally really good if you would just want to have the soldiers to your disposal, and also it allows you to have more draw power. Even though it may look like a wash, you have cards that start dependent. This is one of the proxies. So unfortunately I cannot find my other 3 copies. This is literally the scenario where if you try to search for it, you cannot find it. When you don't search for it, you can always find it everywhere in YouTube and stuff like that. Most of them have everything like neatly like packed and stuff like that. Unfortunately, this isn't one of them. I don't know where the fuck like it is. But this card essentially is sort of like your fixer, because as you will see, we play cards that you want to search in your deck. It essentially targets a grade 2 or lower, and then puts them into the soul. And if you have like chosen 3, you can add one of them to the field, or like call them. So you can like search for this with your counter charge 1. So it's a wash essentially, but you need to discard. You have like lots of broken targets to choose this from. It's like worst case or just 2, but it allows you to have 1 on like the field. So if your hand is literally like crap, this can fetch it sort of for you. And it's one of the counter blasters that we still play to this day, because it's just so flexible. Instead of like the mounted Emblem Master, this is just far more flexible to play. Unfortunately it's a discard, but so be it. And then we go for the great ones. So for the great ones we have Fu. So Fu Greenlin, or Amon's follower or something like that, is also like, this is one of the consistency cards that also soul charges, which you don't really see often in the Dark Regulars because it's such like a snowbally type of deck. But Fu essentially, every single main phase you can put a card from your hand and so on, your opponent does the same to draw a card. And while it doesn't really sound insane, when you have 1 or 2 of these on the field, it essentially is just like additional mulligans. Additional mulligans is really insane for DI because it's such a combo reliant piece of deck. And then also the other skill is when your opponent already has 6 or more cards in the soul. So essentially when they haven't used too much soul during the game, you can also sort just one at the beginning of your battle phase and give something 5k. But 5k is actually nice because sometimes it allows your units to hit under a guard restrict just on a 13k body, and that's already annoying for your opponent to do it, because let's say for example on the hope on them, they need to commit 20k shield and it's only 5k guard, and if they don't have intercepted it's just glitch. But Fu is really like insane card. Like you almost don't see a consistency card together with a soul charge card, but Fu is one of those, because like as we have seen, you don't really have that many consistency cards in Dark Regulars that soul charges. So of course Fu will be a 4-off, and also, which I didn't explain, because of this promo you need to play a lot of more 4-offs in your deck than you need to do in other type of decks in my opinion, just because it like soul charges all the remaining copies out of your deck. So if you play something that you only have like 2 additional copies in your deck of, and you soul charge less, so you sort of like need to play more of each card, but it's not that really big of a downside. We play 4 of the Magic Creeper, so this is the main soul charge of the deck. Like if you put this like when you have it in your hand and you're full, it's unbricks, because this only does something when in the soul, because you can soul blast out and soul charge an additional 2. If you have full together with the Magic Creeper, you can just put it into soul manually and then soul blast out for soul charge 2. If you have again it on hand, you can maybe do that next turn too, but you can also put it behind your Vanguard and use the play 2 promo to soul charge 3 more in, and because you soul blasted 1 out early, you can also recycle it from the drop zone. And it essentially allows you to put the promo from a soul charge 2 and a soul charge 5, because soul blasted 1 is soul charge 6. So that's really broken. Like if this card goes off right, it's insane. And sometimes you just have like 11 cards in soul and you soul charge 1, and then you will be on 12, and you soul charge this and there will be 13. Like this card sometimes changes one after another, and it's not hard once per turn or something like that. And it's costless, so we play it. The only thing with this deck is like it's a 5k shield, which can be pinched. Then we play 4 Killer Tails. This card has been like gone in the deck for quite a while in my opinion. It was not really that good, because it mainly paired up with Emblem Master, but then Emblem Master got denied a bunch of times. But now because of the promo it's back in action, because it's just an amazing card when it goes off, but when it doesn't go off it really sucks. Or when it gets retired early too. But now the payoff is like good enough anymore, like already, because the way to just use the soul of course. So at the beginning, like during the main phase, you can rest it, put the card from your drop zone into your soul, and then if you have 3 or more copies, or like also damage zone, so damage or drop, if you do it for the damage, you can stand her and you can counter one if you have 3 other copies into the soul. So it essentially works better when you have multiple of course. And then also when you do it from top zone you don't get a card charge and the restand effect, but that's not really that worth, because we mainly do it from damage zone, because also cards that are stuck in the damage zone we sometimes want to recoup, and this card essentially allows you to. And then we just play the Independent Assassin in the main deck. Unfortunately, we cannot play it in the as a start anymore because the deck has become too aggressive. You can search it out, however, with where to that I just said, with Poison Adapter, because it chooses 3, but you can, if you choose one, which will be Assassin, you can just put it into the soul and nothing more. So it's a countless one, discard one, put it in the soul, but most of the time it's that worth it to do. And also it's unfortunately a brick in the deck, but if you draw it, you can just soul charge it with full, or just call it and then soul charge with NOK. Then it will be active again and everything. Also, when you have Coveted Succubus and you put it into the soul for the cost, you can be called, of course. So you can circumvent the fact that you -1, because you can keep calling this while putting it into the soul with Covetous. So that allows you to draw a bunch of cards for free, counter charge for free, and just do insane type of things. So that's why you play it. And also this can attack every single time because NOK puts into the soul, Covetous puts into the soul, Barrow puts into the soul. So you can attack with this 4 or 5 times sometimes, based on how many units you have that you can combo off with. And then for the triggers, this will be a more simplified version. I play the 4 crits that you need to see this as the old Chira crits. That when Charlotte attacks, you go into the soul, and with the Errata, when you damage check it, you draw a card. Of course, this is the Sentinel crit. Again, I couldn't find, or I don't think I even own the old crits. But this is a fine copy of, because it essentially is a really good card, because DI really hates the fact when it gets rushed. It's a nice 15k shield, so it circumvents the fact when you damage check it that you can draw cards back, get a defense trigger. So I really like it. And also with the new player collections and stuff, I feel you need to play a little bit more crits in order to maximize the effectiveness of that. And then I play 3 strike crits. I really like to play the into soul crits, but it doesn't really come up often anymore. It's you don't even touch the G-Zone aside from the fact that you go manually into it because of skills. And the strike crits is essentially for when you brick. For the rest it doesn't really matter. Or when you deck out, you also sometimes use it. Then I play 4 RPGs. You could spice this up with a little bit more variety, but if you're just a beginner, just play 4 RPGs, and then you can lessen it the more, the better you come with the deck. This is one of the fact that you can do some tricky stuff with Sentinel crits, which share the same name as this one, of course. So keep that in mind. So the Sentinel crit and the new damage crits, or crits that go into soul, share the same name. So keep that keep that in mind. But 4 RPGs is in my opinion good enough. I don't think it's bad. You only come into scenarios where you may go deck out, and this can be changed. But you need to be wary of that, and the more the better you become with the deck, the less you need to draw to survive the early game and stuff like that. 4 heal cards, because every deck still plays them in the current mana. Even though History Collection came out, it's not really changed anything. And for the OT, we still play the Dark Sides OT. I do believe the blue OT that can grab something from drops is really good at premium. But in this deck, you attack with your finger so many times, even if you check it on the second string, that this OT is really good in this deck. And then for the G-Zone, unfortunately, I don't really use much of a G-Zone, so this will be quite fast, I think, because you use Farfetch. Farfetch is essentially your at the end of the battle, your Vanguard attacked. You can discard 5 count +1 to strike him. Not once per turn. So what you can do is Farfetch, then NOK, go into Barrow Magnus, and after Barrow Magnus attack, you can go again into him, but you need a second copy in the G-Zone. Doesn't really come up often, only when you have insane hand size and need cards in the deck, or maybe you want to have more crits in your deck. That's really it. But essentially, when you do the NOK Barrow loop combo, you can go into this after for your third Vanguard attack. So that's really great. And this strike is reason why we essentially want to have more crits on the deck, because if our deck size is like 13 or less, we can put 3 crits from the soul back into the deck, which allows us to drive check more, and most of the time you just go into deck out territory, so you will see the crits, of course. Through Balam, you can maybe cut this to 1. It is actually a soul charge for when you break. Yeah, it's a nice drive check. I think this is far too slow for the current mana. The GB3 sometimes comes up when you G-guard the bunch, stuff like that. But you just want to have a play for the option, because the G-Zone doesn't really matter. Most of the time, like any NLK barrel combo is far better than the G-Zone you play. So that's why we don't really touch G-Zone that much. Then Blade Mouse is when you deck out, so this puts cards from the soul back into the deck. That's really it. And it is a reasonable Vanguard, so it can also come up that way, but you don't really need it otherwise. Stride, I have almost never stride into. Whenever I stride this, I read the card. That's really it. I don't even know what it was. This is the new premium collection, or like not the new one. It's a history collection stride that got reprinted. It's the only stride that doesn't cost a CB, so that's why we play it. Because like even if you break, like Palau may not even do what we want. And it's all jumpers. 1 Harmonics Messiah, because we need it unfortunately. I don't own one yet, because I will get a case of history collection. So yeah, take what you want. Couple of G cards, just copy it, feel what you need. This is the big G card when you're forward G carded. This is Soul Charger. This pumps up your Vanguard, but only when your opponent's Vanguard attacks your Vanguard. This is the Resist G card, and this is a G card that reduces your opponent's crits. This is the best G card of them all, because you can like guard 1 attack and reduce crits on 2 others, so it can potentially guard for 3 attacks, most of them 2. But it costs a soul, not a soul, a CB, so that's a heavy resource. But even this G card is really not going to go so far. Because see it like this, you can guard the Nitros, and then also like essentially guard 2 Skull Dragons on top of that, which just feels like, I don't know, cheap. So that was my deck profile like after history collection. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you do, comment down below what your take is on this deck. If you think if you disagree with the deck, if you agree with the deck, if you have questions about the deck, and just let me know. So hopefully guys, I will see you soon and speak to you later. Bye bye.